a great pleasure to be here in Bled in Slovenia. There are challenges, of course, but I'm happy to say that the Republic of Moldova is defying the odds. And despite enormous challenges, Moldova is persevering, Moldova is reaching meaningful progress. We have lost far too much time. We have lost 3 decades. And I remember for a long time we wanted to be on the Western Balkans train to the European Union. And we are sort of there. We are still learning this new reality of being an EU candidate country. But we are fully determined to make up for the time lost. And we are wasting no time. We are moving full speed ahead with our domestic reforms because we know ultimately we are doing it for the sake of our country, for the sake of our citizens. And if it also helps us to join the EU, it's great, it's a bonus. But ultimately, the reforms of rule of law, combating corruption, improving human rights, consolidating Moldovan institutions, and having a fully fledged democratic state, this is what Moldovans want. This is what Moldovans wanted for a long time. This is what Moldovans have been denied for far too long. And when I speak about Moldovans, I mean Moldovans in Chisinau, I mean Moldovans in Comrat, I mean Moldovans in Tiraspol, in Bender, Moldovans in Belts, Moldovans all around Europe, Moldovans in the United States. We have a great diaspora there as well, and we count on them participating in the November elections. But the opportunities that avail for the Republic of Moldova present a very strong pull factor for integration. We have a very good chance now for a peaceful solution to the Transnistrian conflict, and we do not see any other solution than a peaceful one. And just to give you a taste of the reality of the statistics, the Republic of Moldova, the constitutionally controlled territory of the Republic of Moldova, 70% of everything we produce, we sell on the European market. The Transnistrian region of the Republic of Moldova, 80% of everything is produced is sold on the European market. So in terms of economic reconciliation and economic anchoring, the Transnistrian region of Moldova is very much there. And it also helps when Sheriff Tiraspol every once in a while beats Real Madrid on Santiago Bernabeu in UEFA Championship. But the fact that the business community in the Transnistrian region, much like the rest of the country, sees the future in Europe as this big land of prosperity, of human rights, and most importantly of peace, which we must admit have taken for granted in our part of Europe. Now, we no longer have this luxury of taking peace for granted, especially today, after the 41 victims in Poltava, after the 1 month ago attack on the kids' hospital in Kyiv, where also Moldovan kids with cancer have been treated for a long time. So even Russian speakers and ethnic Russians in Moldova, in the Transnistrian region, don't want to have anything to do with the Russian world the way they see it in Bucha, in Irpin, in Mariupol, in Kharkiv. So the Republic of Moldova is firmly anchoring itself onto the European trajectory, something that we should have done a long time ago, and we are doing that in meaningful ways. Moldova is no longer dependent on Gazprom for gas. Moldova is building high voltage lines to connect itself to Romania, that is to the European energy grid. So economically and from the energy standpoint, we are more and more anchored in Europe, because from a values perspective, from a cultural perspective, we are as European as we come. I come from Prague, and I had the wonderful pleasure of witnessing a Moldovan soprano being in the key role in the Tosca opera, in the Czech State Opera in Prague. When I go to Budapest, I see a former Moldovan prima ballerina in the Hungarian opera, and now the prime instructor. When I move to other places in Europe, I see Moldovans doing great for themselves, doing great for Moldova. And then who are we if not Europeans? And now I'm pleased that we have this opportunity now to legalize our real estate back home, because many of us are full-fledged European citizens by virtue of having Romanian passports. Half of Moldovan citizens have Romanian passports. So it's almost natural, this path that we have embarked on. And the Transnistrian region, much like any other part of the Republic of Moldova, stands to benefit. And we are very eager to share these benefits, and there is a strong interest on the left bank to benefit from everything Europe has to offer. And we are firmly committed to peaceful reintegration and a to reclaim our rightful place in the European family of nations.
Thank you very much, Mr. Deputy Prime Minister. These are very encouraging words coming from your side. I have a follow-up question, since Moldova is not excluded from this super electoral year, and in October you will have elections as well, which are going to be accompanied by a referenda on European future of Moldova. What are your expectations? How do you cope with the especially malign external influences which are present, I know, in your country? And can you count on European Union's support in that sense, in countering this malign influence coming from outside?
You're totally right. It's the second most important election in the world in October in Moldova. We do get a lot of support from our friends and partners, and we would not have been here in this point in time, being stronger and more resilient than we were just a few years ago, if it wasn't for the support, for the enormous generosity of our friends in Europe, of our friends over the Atlantic, of our friends in the free world, as President Sandu likes to say. And yes, we do get support in combating disinformation and building resilient institutions to combat more proactively this malign influence. We have put together a Center of Strategic Communication in Moldova, modeled after the experience of our friends in the Baltics. So we are stronger, more resilient, and we look forward to the time in the near future where we'll be able to share some of these experiences with other partners, because we are the front line when it comes to disinformation and Russian malign influence. And I must report that we are stronger by the day, because Russians are testing us, and this challenge makes us stronger. And we are thankful for all the support that we are getting in this regard.
Mulțumesc, Mr. Deputy Prime Minister.
Cu drag.